Hey, welcome back to the channel. Today we're starting something a little different and brand new. We're done with one of the series that we were working on, so we're starting a new one. And this is going to be a little speed build just showing you how I made the buildings. Which honestly, I made one building and then I'm just like I'm copying it over to another part. So I'm going to have like two different apartment buildings. So these are going to be residential rentals. Is that what they are? Yeah, like the new one, the new lot type. And yeah, I'm happy and I'm excited because I get to do some really fun stuff. I get to make some new characters, and it's going to be like kind of shorter parts because in these series, because again, they're just little apartments, and so I get to have some creative liberty in making some very fun characters and coming up with some names and some storylines, and I love that. It's going to be great. So yeah, when I was thinking about this, I have in my personal save from some time ago, I had made something like this, but we didn't have the residential rentals yet. So it was just one of those things where I was just they were all in one household. I could only make, without a mod, like 8 people, 8 Sims. So it was kind of difficult because it was kind of like I want to make families, but I couldn't really make families again because you could only have like 8 per lot. So this is so much better, and what I'm trying to get at is that I'm just kind of happy and I'm kind of excited because actually making apartments for different families that you can play is like a totally different ball game. I wanted these to look like the American style, like newer builds, but like kind of accessible to everybody because I didn't want them to be like super luxury apartments, even though I'm sure they would probably market them this way. Have you noticed, if you're in the US and you've ever like rented in the last 20 years, 15 or 20 years, an apartment in this kind of a building, they always call them luxury apartments so that they could like upsell you. And when you go into the apartments, they're just like normal apartments. There's nothing luxury about any of it. But anyway, I guess it's just like not full of roaches, hopefully, and like has all the normal amenities you would need. Anyway, look at me being snarky. Look at me. Anyway, so I just have these. I feel like I could have made more, but so I only have like 4 apartments per lot. I feel like that's more than enough if you're going to be playing. You can put as many Sims as you want, I guess, in each. I mean, according to whatever guideline, I think it's still 8 per residence. But anyway, so I just kind of felt like that's enough. I don't want to stack it up any higher. It looked weird if I tried to do like a third to make the 6. It wasn't working well. So I just felt like this was fine. And because I'm making like it is identical apartment building right next door to it, I feel like technically it's a different lot, but it's like you could pretend like it's the same company. So that's what I'm doing. And I don't know, I feel like it's nice because it looks so similar to what I've lived in before. Like, remember when my husband and I were first dating? Well, not first dating, come on. When we first started living together before we were married. And we lived in a place like similar to this where it was kind of like outdoors. You could go upstairs and there's kind of like these balconies, but they're not really balconies, just like outdoor space in front of your door. And you could always hear like people arguing and stuff if you're in that breezeway. Oh, it was so great. You get all the tea you would ever want, especially if you're a tea lover, which I'm personally a coffee lover. But I like that type of tea sometimes, you know? So I think originally what I was doing is I was putting in like all this gray stuff, like the gray. Sorry, I had to pause and wait for a motorcycle to go by. It's a beautiful day today. It's like very sunny and hot today, so motorcycles are out. Anyway, I had all these gray staircases and stair rails and fences, and I go back and I change that to white. Because when I was looking, I looked up because I was having trouble with like the color schemes I wanted to do, because I wanted to use these kind of like older doors, and I think these are from City Living because they have like the little fake numbers on them. And then I was like, these are fine, but they just don't look new enough. I wish we had some newer looking doors that weren't so shabby. Because I wanted this to look like a newer build when I was looking up like color schemes and stuff. I ended up changing like the doors, the color of the stair rails, the stairs themselves, the fences, like I said, and the actual doors are going to be changed as well because it was just kind of like too shabby. It looked like kind of run down and it just wasn't the vibe I was looking for with the shape and everything. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna like scratch all of this, like old stuff and start putting in all this white. I think it's the same. Yeah, they're the same exact stairs and rails and stuff, just white. And I go back a little bit later and I change the colors of the doors as well. And not just the colors, but like the actual doors themselves. When I'm thinking about this, I was thinking like I want it to be as realistic as possible. So what I've done, which you'll see very soon, is I've actually built a basement and I put in some storage lockers and I've actually made it so that each unit has their own storage downstairs. So it's kind of like a locked, like fenced off area. So you can have like your bikes down there or whatever little stories that you want to tell that's down there. It kind of, when I was building it, I was kind of getting like vibes of Sims 1, Sims 2, when I would make like dungeons and trap Sims downstairs because I was an evil child. So yeah, no, but we've all done it. Come on, don't act like, oh my goodness, Mama Simsy's a psychopath. I mean, maybe I was back then, but I mean, it was just Sims. It's not like you would really do it. It's just, we've all at the very least taken a pool ladder away. So okay, yeah, this is when I was struggling to find what I wanted to do. For colors, I kind of actually stick with the same colors. I just change up the well, you'll see. Actually, it put some little details on here to make it look a little bit more finished off and polished. It just wasn't something like coming together. When I saw this originally, I thought it was like, oh, this reminds me of like the Neapolitan ice cream, but like instead of it being pink, it's pistachio or something. But then once I started putting this set on where it has like the little pillars on the side, it looked a little bit more of like what I wanted instead of so ice creamish. But yeah, originally I was thinking, oh no, what am I gonna do? I like these colors. I just don't know that I like them this way, but I feel like this worked out. And once I put all the windows and stuff on, which actually I have some windows that I put on that just, they're not going to be there forever, that are on there for quite some time, and it just looks old. So they'll go. You'll see at the end, and you've seen it probably in the thumbnail as well. But like, I had such an identity crisis that, well, this building did. It went through a lot. It went through a lot of changes, but I'm really happy with how it's coming out. But like I said, I have a little dungeon area downstairs. It looks like it's all concrete and with like chain link fences and stuff. But I also have like a laundry area. So if you have laundry day, you can play with that too. I have like a bunch of the swatches that look like they are the coin operated swatches for those machines. I put those so that they kind of look like they're usable usable with coins. And there's dryers. I think there's like 3 of each down there, so you'll have plenty of the stuff to do. I also put some little benches down there, so you'll see it in a bit. It just looks like a little dark, dank community area. And if this was like a different game, you'd have to be careful. Or if this was real life, you'd have to be careful, but it's The Sims. And unless you have like extreme violence mod or something on, you're completely fine. Or you could make your own stories where there's some kind of psycho or something. I don't know. But in the plain vanilla base game, you're good. And I'm also putting down on that lower area where the concrete is, right now I'm putting in balconies, but I put in a dumpster area. I'm going to have to put in some actual trash cans for them to use, but I put a dumpster. I wish, and maybe they can, I wish they could use those dumpsters, like those big commercial dumpsters from like Eco Lifestyle, instead of just woohooing in them. Can they actually use them to throw away like their garbage? I don't even know. I'll have to check it out. I hope they can, but I don't think for some reason, I don't think that they can. So I put the balconies on for the apartments at each patio. Each apartment has its own patio / balcony, and that's what I was building here. And it's facing like this park that's in the back. I thought that was a nice kind of a thing. I thought that would be a sweet little thing to look out on while you're outside instead of looking out at the street. And both, like I said, both of the buildings, so this one and the one that will be next door, they're both the same way. They're both identical. And in these apartments, I have just like the basics of how an American apartment would be. You have your fully furnished kitchen, which is like all of your appliances and cabinets and stuff. I know in some countries, like you have to bring your kitchen with you, which that is wild to me that people like just rip out kitchens and like bathrooms and stuff and take them with them. What? So, yeah, I'm just not used to that. And you probably are completely fine if you're from a country that's like that. But I'm like, that is insane to me. So we've got a fully furnished bathroom and kitchen. You'll see that. I made them kind of modern and they're all the same. I'm also making them the gray boxes of doom. Originally, I was just going to have white paint, but I thought, you know what? We got to do this right. We got to make it the gray boxes of doom. So inside we have like that horrible, in my opinion, this is my opinion. Your opinion might be different, but that like bad now every place has this in the US. It's that like laminate flooring that's supposed to look like wood, but like it's gray and it's not quite right. And if it gets wet, which they put it in bathrooms and kitchens, they put it everywhere, it just gets all ripply and terrible, and it's not water safe. I don't know why anybody would want it. And you can't wash it with like normal stuff. Oh yeah, here's the dumpster. I put 2 dumpsters originally, but we're going to take one of them out and put like a little area to get downstairs, which you'll see in a bit. Anyway, it's got those like flooring. It's got the very, very gray, like death gray walls painted in there. I like how everything went from like beige to gray, and that's what you get. It's like if you have the very, very old one, it's beige. And now if you have like the new and luxury apartments, it's gray. So that's fun. I feel like, again, I have nothing against that. And honestly, at one point, maybe in 2015, 16, I was all for it. But times changed. And Joanna Gaines, while she made that popular, she no longer even furnishes places like that anymore, I don't think. So we have to let it go. Some things just need to just poof into the wind and stop charging people an arm and a leg to have a 1-bedroom apartment. I am outraged. I have not rented in now like 2 years, I think. Yeah, this is like our 2nd year not renting. And I was looking at some rental places, especially in like larger cities, and I am aghast. What is happening? I know it's a cliche, but like, are you serious right now? So this is why I play The Sims, so that I don't have to worry about the real world. I can just have my own simulated world and not deal with it. Yeah. Anyway, here we are in the basement, and this is the dungeon I was talking about. And I tried to get them as evenly spaced as possible. Thankfully, it worked out the way that it did, so everybody has like the equal amount. It's a 3x4. Yeah, 3x4 room. And I mean, I don't really know what you'd be having in here, but I think it's cool because I like the idea of being able to have storage. And in real life, it's very valuable to have storage like this in your apartment. In a lot of places, they don't even have extra storage like this, or you have to pay like an extra fee or something for it. Sorry, I'm playing with something on my desk that like makes farting noises. It's okay. If you have cats or dogs and you use canned food, they have like these covers that you can buy so that you don't have to like use the full can. And my husband likes to put them on our glasses because it's summertime and we have flies in the house sometimes. So he puts them over our like drinking glasses, and I have one on my desk and I'm just making farting noises. So if that's bothering you, sorry. I'll try to stop. But it's fun. I'm like a big giant kid with this thing. Okay, yeah, I'm making these much smaller. I realized like that, and I keep making the room smaller and smaller and smaller. I realized that like I made this way too big at first, and I was like, okay, we're gonna have to just like scale this way down because this is way too much space. We needed less space, and I think that's about right. I spent so much time down here because I was thinking like, this doesn't look right. This doesn't look right. I need to change the color on this. Should I put up some kind of like posters? I don't know. And it was just like, I feel like I spent way too much time trying to figure this out for what it actually turned out to be. I just did some little things. We probably aren't going to be using this trash can. There's like a little laundry hamper that I'm putting down here. I just put out some little clutter things that people might have down here, like laundry detergent bottles and baskets of clothes and folded clothes. And yeah, and I also thought like, well, this would probably be where people would put up ads or little like things that they would want for babysitting jobs or community stuff. So I just put that down there. I just thought it was a good place for it. And I was like thinking I wanted to put in some stone steps, but then I was like, you know what? No, let's just use these gray same stairs that we have all over the place. Just make it gray on gray on gray. We'll Joanna Gaines it and make it a little prison down here and just call it a day. And I honestly think with all jokes aside, that is very useful. And if you're really living in a place like this is very realistic and utilitarian and something that you would actually need. So here you go. I'm the kind of person that doesn't like to do speed builds, or I used to be when I first started this channel. And I think it's because my old computer was so terrible and slow that it was really hard for me to do everything in a timely manner. And it would just be so excruciatingly hard to do. So I always wondered, like, why does everyone like to do speed builds? I get it now a little bit. I'm still not the hugest fan, but like, I kind of get it. And I think they're fun to watch too. I kind of like doing speed builds slightly more now, but I still think I like chatty builds the best. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I just like talking to you guys. I mean, I can talk to you here, but I kind of like letting you in on what I'm doing, you know, as I'm doing it and my thought processes. But, you know, to each their own. So I go back and I change these because I mean, I didn't change the actual bushes, but I did change the lots to be slightly wider, like the actual apartments. So I had to kind of widen everything out. And I just kind of like, because of that, just made these their original poof instead of sizing them down like how I have them here. And I mean, it's not a big issue or big deal, but it's something because those apartments are tiny. Like you don't realize until you really start like, oh, I have to put stuff in here. Oh. That like I need to change this up a little bit. So that's what I go and do later on. But the landscaping pretty much stays the same. It's just like slightly more bushes and just kind of like everything is sized up the right size, you know? So there you go. And then I think very soon you'll be seeing I put some outside lighting. I wanted this place to be very safe because outside, if I didn't put all of this lighting and stuff, it would be very dark, which you'll see in just a moment. But yeah, I originally, actually I cut all that out, but originally I had a bunch of flowers out here and I did my normal like, oh, look at all these pretty flowers. And then I was like, you know what though? Who's taking care of this? This is a apartment building and it's just like some maintenance guy. They don't have master gardeners out here taking care of like peonies and all of that. So I was just like, you know what? No, let's just have normal bushes out here that maybe they get trimmed a little bit to look nice, and that's really it. And they like mow the lawn and trim the trees. That's pretty much it. Because we have there's a park, as you can see over there. We have a bunch of flowers and things. So if people really want flowers, they can put it on their balcony or they can go to the park, whatever. I'm not doing it. We don't need all that. And it looked really strange on like a apartment, like a commercial apartment building. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. Now on the other side, I wanted to put some like privacy for the front. And since we have all of those windows, I ended up putting these cypress type trees, which you'll see in a moment. And I like them. I just feel like they're so big, and I'm not sure if I'm going to keep them. I still have them on, and you'll see them in a bit once I'm done with all this terrain tool stuff, but I just don't know that I want to keep them. In real life, they're nice, and I've seen apartments like this. That's where I got the idea from. Let me know what you think once you see them in a bit, because I'm unsure about them. And apparently I was really unsure about which color I wanted to use for the terrain paint. I thought I cut all that out. Oh well, I'm leaving it in. I'm done with the editing on this speed build, you know. Also, let me know if this speed is okay. I have it at a 200%, and I think you can see it well enough. That's the other thing I struggled with, was like, what speed do I put it at? Is it too fast? Is it too slow? I don't know. So let me know if it's okay, or if it's too fast, too slow, what you would prefer. And I try not to cut out too much, but just enough. Because again, you guys don't want to see me going through like all this stuff that I went through downstairs, or putting in all the flowers, taking them out, and trying to see what bushes to put in. I get it. So I know some of you really like some of that tedious stuff, but nobody likes all that tedious stuff. Let me see. And yep, we're getting to those, I think they're cypress trees. It's these tall, skinny ones. I feel like these are nice. I just don't know, because they're just so much, but I wanted them there because it's kind of nice privacy. So I don't know. Let me know what you think. I've seen these in real life, and I've seen people like try to plant them outside their homes, or even outside of apartment buildings like this for privacy. And like some of them, like they don't take, so they like die. It's really sad. And you're like a big crusty brown one or two in like the middle of the other ones. It just looks so weird. But see what I mean? They're just like floop, right in the front. I don't know. I think it's fine. Okay, so we're starting on the apartments, and I put on these old looking windows. They're not old, they just aren't quite what I was going for or looking for, or like, I don't know. You'll see what we end up with. I think they're fine, and they would have been okay. But then once I like put on another window on the side, they just looked a little too old for the feeling I was going for. So you'll see what I do. But these aren't bad. And I think if I had kept them at this narrowness before I like extend them out, it would have been okay. But the combination of all of that, I just needed some slightly newer windows and slightly bigger ones. But I do go ahead and keep these sliding doors. I just scoot them over a bit, which you'll see very soon. So those patios, they're going to be slightly bigger. Yeah. And I think I've already made things bigger too. This next segment that you're going to see, it's going to be very jumbled, because I'm not very good at speed builds. I'm just going to be the first one to say it. I should have just like furnished one apartment and then did the rest off screen. But what did I do? I was like, oh, I did this. I'm going to do this on all the other ones. I did this. I'm going to do it on all the other ones. Yeah, no. So I learned my lesson. So I tried to cut it in such a way that once I start like putting in the kitchen and some of the interior stuff, it's kind of like all on the same thing, like the same apartment, but it's not, and it's very jumbled, so sorry. Oh yeah. Okay, here's the lighting. I'm putting all of these lights from Get to Work outside. I think they're fine. I think those floodlights are really good. And I think it's pretty realistic to what like an apartment building might use for an outdoor area like this. I feel like there's no good way to go about this, and it's all going to be ugly. And these have so much nice light. I just feel like that's what it is. I also might put some like cameras out. That's one thing that I thought about. And I was like, I don't know. But now that I'm like thinking about it again, I think that would be nice. I'm also not using these floodlights as like the ornamental lights by the doors. You'll see what I use in a bit for those, or like outside of the patios. I have something a little bit more decorative, but these are more like safety lights, just for everything, just to kind of flood the place so that there's no weirdos lurking in the shadows or anything like that, you know? Yeah, these are the ornamental lights that I'm putting out. And I actually think I changed the orientation of this once I changed the doors to the other side, which that doesn't really make a difference. But You'll see it in due time. But yeah, I think it was around this time I was like looking at the doors and thinking like, that ain't it. That ain't really going with what I wanted, what I was wanting. So yeah, I put them on the other side. Only thing I didn't put was mailboxes. So I'm debating if I should put like some of those, like the personal mailboxes out front by the doors themselves, or if I should just put like the jumble, like the big ones that you can just walk up to before you, like when you walk up to the apartment or something. I don't know. We'll have to see. So yeah, I changed those doors to the black, sort of like more modern looking doors. I'm so indecisive. I hate it. And yeah, I'm putting some more windows that are not going to stay. I thought like I was like, yeah, I'm using these and these and these, and this is going to be great. And I'm just going right along. And then I was like, I changed one window out and I was like, oh, no, I have to change them all out because this just looks off. See that cut? Like, see what I mean? Like, I was like, oh no, I need to like furnish this, then this, then this. And I just kept jumping around. And so I tried to make it so that it's all kind of cohesive. But for next time, I'll know what to do. I just wasn't thinking. I wasn't in the right headspace. So we're kind of jumping around from apartment to apartment a little bit. But I wanted to keep this a little bit more modern and not so like old looking. Which, I love old stuff. That's for me. But I think in this case, it wasn't gonna fly. So I was like, you know what? Let's just go all out. Let's make this very modern. I feel like this is a newer build apartment, so it makes sense that they would have like newer looking windows, newer looking appliances. The flooring you'll see in a little bit. All of that's gonna be different. It's not like I'm in a comfort zone of like old stuff. It's just what I go to because I feel like, to me, that's the most realistic for a lot of things. But I also know that in a lot of places, like newer builds are what's normal too. So I know that's a weird thing to say, but where I'm from, everything is kind of old. Everything is kind of old. There aren't a lot of new builds, which that's not great. When I was living in Ohio, there were more new builds because I was living in a major city, but like it was, I don't know, it still wasn't something that I cared for or liked too much. I'm a little bit prejudiced against new stuff. I always feel like new things are always kind of shabbily built, and that doesn't even make sense. They're not all like that. But see, I put this window on and I was like, oh, that goes with this kitchen, but it does not go with those windows. So I ended up going with these base game windows instead. And I mean, they're not the most modern, but they're like more on par of like the rest of what I was going for. And when I changed those windows out, I was like, okay, this is coming together. This is what we were talking about. And I was just like so unsure on which door to use. And I was like, you know what? This Dream Home Decorator door, it goes well because this warm wood that I'm using, that kind of matches in with the kitchen. And I'm kind of matching it in with these like closets, which I only have in the main bedrooms, by the way. You'll see in a bit, but I only have like room enough for the 2 tile closets. Like those are like the warmer wood that will kind of match and go with everything. Even though I'm using the cooler swatches like on this floor, to me this just really looks like that. What do they call it? Luxury vinyl of hardwood. It's not hardwood, it's vinyl. Yeah. So here we go with the death gray. Oh my God. I had to do it to him, but I don't think it's too bad. Honestly, with the warm wood, it's actually not bothering me too badly. So I went ahead and I made like these weird little nooks as well. And I figured it would be good for like a little desk moment or whatever you want to do. Put in books, shelving, whatever. And the bathroom. Here we go. The bathroom, I did not have anything in mind, and I almost forgot to furnish and decorate it. So it was one of those things where I was kind of like, okay, well, I need to get something in here that would look nice. I settled on this white tile and this just all white basically in here instead of like the gray. And I think that went well. I just put in some modern looking fixtures, and it looks like we're coming to a close here very soon. So thank you so much for watching and for joining me today. Have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.